Okay. That's what's called a hearing aid.
Okay. We start with the opening prayer. Page 5. Sanje Judain Zoge Jonam Lai Janjoy Paradoi Dane Yazuje Dagin Jinsoy Jibe Sunam Yin Rolai Pincher Sange Drubarai Show Sanje Judai Zoji Shonam Lai Chanjoy Paradoi Dani Yazoji Dagi Jinsoy Jebe Sonam Jin Rola Penjere Sanje Drubarai Show. In the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merits of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Mai nam khadai nyambe semje damje dewa dan devi yudan demparai yuruji dongal dan dongai ye yudai travarai yuruji dongarai mebe dewa dan me travarai yuruji Niren chada nidan rave danyam la nevarai yorai je imai nam kadanyambe dewa dan devi yudan barai yorai je dongwa da dongwa da dravarai yorai je Dongala me ben dewa da me travai yoje nyere jada nyeda travi danyom la ne varai. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have a happiness and causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity and free from attachment and aversion. Page 10. Sashi Bhaji Joji Mendo Dan Rira Nije Ninde Jembade Sanje Shen Lai Mede Mboa Yin Drobe Nanda Yin Doje Vara Shoi Kusa Vyanzo Lami Sonabra Chenai San Son De Shen Ye Chen Da Le Long Je Na Se Yong Yen Lame Choge Ngudro Zado Zoi Chan Zai Wadai Jujin Yerkwana Yeso Yera Ngoje Zowa Hingewa Jungze Dagi Jinsawa Hamje Zobe Janjo Jingwa Ngoi Ngoro Rana The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with the flowers. It is adorned with the marrow, the spring, the four continents, and the sun and the moon. As the Buddha feel, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha field. To the lamas who possess the three kayas, I offer the outer and inner and sacred offerings, with the body, wealth, and all that is visible. Please grant me the supreme realization, enlightenment. Whatever merits I have gathered through prostration or offering and compassion, rejoicing and beseeching and praying, for the sake of enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Oi Jamdenje Dongme Zamnege Tabe Tongson Yongla Sume Gyawan Dorje Jampa Jigden Gombro Sowa Tudado Samgyu Kyule Me Chinje Labje Tuje Ninge Mba Sene Jang Sem So Tobra Jenje Lo. Unequal refuge, ornaments of the world, your fame pervades the 3,000 worlds. You are the victor Vajradhara, without a doubt. I bow at the feet of the Father Jigden Sumgun. Continually, I think of none but you. Compassionate one, grant your blessings. Dispel the darkness that's surrounded by my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize the unelaborated nature of mine. Semje namje sambada loye jeda jeda chejo demo deba yi cheji goro gordo so. Please turn the wheel of Dharma of the two vehicles and their combination according to the disposition and likewise the mental capacity of the sentient beings.
다소 심제점로 초소 주어진일로 도소 철람돈 주어진일로 도소 남초바서 와진일로 주바 이시도 차와라 진결라 도소 first we'll do this short Guru Yoga, in English. Guru Yoga that brings the Dhammakaya onto the path. First refuge in Bodhicitta. Vajradhara Lama, embodiment of the three jewels, I take refuge in you and will until I attain enlightenment.
Sentient beings, victims of the
confusion, projection, suffering. I generate the mindset for enlightenment in order to establish you in the non-abiding state. Vajradhara Lama, embodiment of the three jewels, I take refuge in you and will until I attain enlightenment.
Sentient beings, victim of the confused projection sufferings, I generate the mindsets of enlightenment in order to establish in you in the non-abiding state. Vajradhara Lama, embodiment of the three jewels, I take refuge in you and until I attain enlightenment. Sentient beings, victims of the confused projection suffering, I generate the mindsets for enlightenment in order to establish in you in the non-abiding state.
And then visualization, to establish the visualization. Lord Vajradhara Jigden Sumgun sits on the seat of the 10 strength, 4 fearlessness and 18 unmixed dharmas,
with the radiating light of the measure and minor marks of love, compassion, and bodhicitta, and non-conceptual enlightenment activity reaching all migratory equally.
Om Rana Shri Saravase Deo. 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 Om Rana Om Rana Shri Saravasiti 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 You are the Buddha, Nagakulapura Dipa, and the Devankara of the past, Maitreya of the future, and Shakyamuni of the present, the reincarnation of Nāgārjuna, the peerless Ratnashri, Lord Jigten Sumgun, I supplicate to you. You are the Buddhas, Nagakulapura Dipa, and the Devankara of the past, Maitreya of the future, and Shakyamuni of the present, the reincarnation of Nāgārjuna, the peerless Ratnashri, Lord Jigten Sumgun, I supplicate to you. You are the Buddhas, Nagakalapura Dipa, and the Devankara of the past, Maitreya of the future, and Shakyamuni of the present, the reincarnation of Nāgārjuna, the peerless Ratnashri,
Lord Jigden Sumgun, I supplicate to you.
Now, next, they're receiving the full empowerment and then meditation. Lama dissolve into us and we do the meditation. Light rays emanate from the Lama's body, speech, and mind, and they dissolve into my four places, thereby purifying the four obscurations, bestowing the four empowerments, and planting the seed of the four kayas. The Lama then dissolved into myself. My mind is now natural luminosity, emptiness. Dedication prayer. Through both innate virtue and the virtue accumulated the three times by all samsara and nirvana, may I and all sentient beings filling space, none left out, realize the co-emergent ultimate reality and attain the final state of non-abidance in the existence of peace. Thank you. So as you can see this, you can do this practice in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or half an hour. Okay. Now as we said the opening prayers, taking refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and cultivating the mind to attain to complete enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. And having said that, on these prayers, the main purpose of this is to purify our mental obscurations, which are the direct cause of suffering. Now this will come in this teaching. We work hard, whatever it, in your life, business, daily working, politics, science, technologies, all this as we know. In a brief, we keep busy our life from morning to the evening. Sometimes we sacrifice lunch, sacrifice breakfast. But all the purpose, whether you Dharma practice or working, all purpose is to have some peace and happiness and free from suffering. Physically, mentally. That's the goal of every sentient beings, even animals, insects, birds, and all this. So here, as we are discussing these last few days, the Buddha's teaching is for about that, but mainly concerning the mind. Whether we say, I have peace and happiness, is your state of the mind and the result of our action. And so I'm suffering is also state of the mind, is a result of our action. We don't say the rock is suffering, the tree is suffering, isn't it? We human beings or sentient beings, and including animals, who has the consciousness, the mind, the awareness. So that, now as in the text mentioned, Buddha taught, the solution of that, no any material things can solve that problem. It's through this wisdom, the compassion of the Buddha that taught. It is studied, practiced by highly accomplished, educated beings, masters, and passed down to us, proving that themselves studied, practiced, and transmitted to the followers, to us. Now, in this time, all the Buddha and the great Bodhisattva, great teachers, they did their job. Now it is our responsibility whether to keep the flesh alive or not. There's no outside we can look for. It's within, look inside, whether I'm doing or not doing. No. This Buddha's teaching maintained this last for 2,000 over 506 over years. They worked hard. As you read the life stories of the great masters, they sacrificed their own comfort. They sacrificed their material collections. But they did this to the service of the Buddha. The service of Buddhas means for the sentient beings, that they did. And so Buddha taught, as we have said, this complete form of the teachings, not presenting as a religion, Buddhism. Buddhism means like Buddha's tradition, Buddha created. No, Buddha realized whole reality, nature of the universe, relation with the causality. That's what's called interdependent. In Sanskrit, pratita samutapata. The pratita samutapata means that, that which is happening because of depending on that. And because of this is happening, will continue to the next. It's talking about the causality. It cuts the nihilist and it cuts the eternalist. Free from this dualistic kind of what we sometimes believe, but everything functions within the framework of the interdependent. That being said, nothing functions independently in one instant. Something to exist needs a lot of coordination. Bringing many coordinations, many causes, conditions come together, then something manifests. But root down is the motivation. Just for example, you see, the ground filled in the farm filled, the four elements, and then fertilizers, all those conditions there. If you plant a poison, the poison to grow the poison need all those conditions to grow. As well, if you plant this seed of medicine, to grow the medicine need all those conditions to grow. From the same condition, depending to the seed, one grows the poison, one grows the medicine. Like that, our mind. When there's a mental affliction, confusion, delusion, that becomes a seed to manifest, or it becomes a cause for the suffering. But that depends on many causes and conditions. And at the same time, when we have a virtuous thought, bodhicitta, that depends on many causes, conditions, as it is required, and that becomes the cause for peace and happiness. You see, since we don't want suffering, so Buddha's teaching is to see what's the cause of suffering, that what you don't like. And what's the cause for the peace, happiness, what you like. It's not just for today, it's not just for tomorrow or next year, but it's life after life. So it becomes necessary, indispensable to study, to practice the Buddha's teaching. It's not just a religion you believe or don't believe. It's the matter of to understand the causality for peace and happiness. So this is what Buddha taught precisely. That's why we take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Buddha taught that for all sentient beings, not just only for monks and nuns, not just only for Buddhists, but every sentient beings. As I repeated at the time, we say, may all mother sentient beings have happiness and causes of happiness. We pray. May all sentient beings free from suffering and causes of suffering. You see, that's the total, our goal. The project is that, the ultimate goal. In the samsara, you say, look, you go anywhere all over the world where they speak different language, have different culture, different lifestyle, different belief system. Somewhere they don't believe anything, but they want peace and happiness, but they don't want suffering. It's the same thing. Oh? So look at this. Oh. And you see, we encounter all the time difficulties, suffering, physically, mentally, including aging, sickness, finally death. Does everybody go through this avenue? All those sufferings are a result of our action, what you call karma. Karma is in Tibetan lay. Lay means action. You do something that becomes a cause. Oh, that's called karma. It's not something all cultural belief system. So that is our Dharma practitioners. It's a responsibility. We have all that. So since we abide in the world because of the others' coordination, so without choice, we have to relate to others. If you don't want, no, we relate to others. So without the others, we cannot function ourselves. Like when you go to work, we need that somebody is giving you a job. We depend on that to get the job. We cannot like find a job in the desolate place where there's nothing but desert. Go there, can I get a job? You cannot find a job. We find a job in the society. So we depend on those individuals. So open the heart. No. And just open the heart, the mind of unconfined state, the vastness, every sentient beings. Look at that. Then that what is reality, nature itself. And that what Buddha taught. No. So that's that what exactly what Buddha taught is conveyed by Lord Jigten Sungkwan. Okay. That what he conveyed, communicated, that's what is called the KONCHIK teaching, as I mentioned, So see, look at this, how precious it is. We have to have ability, and special insight to see these things precisely, and then need to express and communicate. The teaching, the KONCHIK, is about that. And then when you read the text, then you can see, in the text, KONCHIK text is said, in Tibet it's called Chöyi Chebe Dwachile Chet. Chöyi Dharma King, the Buddha, taught Dharma teaching for all the sentient beings. Do you know the prescription and proscription? You know these two words? Prescription and proscription. You know that? What does it mean, proscription? Forbidden, you see. The doctor prescribed, no, you should take this prescription. Buddha prescribed all the virtuous activities, teachings, meditation. Okay, thank you. It's prescribed, prescribed all those teaching, Dharma, study, practice, and prescribed, doctor prescribed, so don't do this, it is bad for your health. So Buddha prescribed all the non-virtuous acts. Okay, this very important point, this two. Prescribe, prescription, prescribed is prescribed primordially all the time. Buddha asks us to do all the good things for our own benefit. And Buddha prescribed all the non-virtuous action to avoid for our own benefit. So that's what's called interdependent, interconnected. That's all constitute within in this what's called the institution of this causality. So relation to this for our own practice, this last few days, I was reading the written by Nāgārjuna commentary on the Bodhicitta. So yesterday I read from up to 76. If you know this 76, in the 76, the verse from there, describing the result where what we are facing, that is the from the cause, from the distinctive cause and manifest the distinctive result. As yesterday I read this, the result, desire, and undesire. I started that, the result, desire, undesire. The result means the fruit, or peace and happiness. Desire, what do we desire? For peace and happiness. And what we undesire is a suffering. That is not independent. It doesn't come casual. No, it comes from distinctive causes and conditions. So in a good or evil state within this world, and all this drive from action, see, good or ill, happiness, ill, suffering, come from our action. That have been done to others beings, say, relate to others, you see. Nobody will hurt to yourself. I always cherish myself. My peace and happiness, I cherish that. My suffering, I try everything to get rid of it. So I cherish myself. I will never do bad things for myself. But I do bad things for myself through the negative action, relation with the others. Just, other beings having done, have been done to other beings. When we have ill thoughts, negative actions to harm others, is cause of suffering. If we have love and compassion to others, it's a cause for peace and happiness. Saying, no. It's not an old belief system. It's today, in the 21st centuries, very obvious, clearly now manifesting. All the undesire, the climate change, you see. Different diseases pandemic, all this manifests not without the cause. We blame to somebody else, but there's karma, individual karma, collective karma. Individual karma is just to come to myself. I am the victim of my own negative action. And collective karma, there's a group collective karma. There's a family collective karma. There's, like say, we should say, county collective karma, state collective karma, the country collective karma. There are some disasters doesn't come to whole the country, but in some special state. It's the manifestation of the karma. So we should. It's what Buddha taught precisely. And that what is happening by itself is not a religious belief or not belief. So therefore, we should, since these days, the world is so interconnected due to the science and technologies. Internet, you see now. So that, you see, the next, now today start from here. The peerless state of Buddhahood is gained by taking the support of beings, you see. You achieve Buddhahood by the support of the sentient beings. How so important, you see. Buddha, first he was not Buddha, ordinary person like us, but saw the suffering of the sentient beings. And then God has such a desire how to help these sentient beings. And cultivated bodhicitta. And then practice that with the support of the sentient beings as other dimension. We cannot practice love and compassion to a piece of rock, to the piece of tree. You attach to a house, but you don't say, I practice love and compassion to my house so that my house be so happy. You want it, but it doesn't happen, It's not that way. But you can love your children, your family. You can help your family. Likewise, you help all the sentient beings. So sentient beings the support for your practice of love and compassion. So that way, Buddha gained the Buddhahood. By taking the support of beings, what wonder is it then that there is no heavenly, no human joy, that there is no heavenly means anyway, what is saying is there, what is there? So there's no outside somebody affects our peace and happiness. It totally affects from our own action. When we have ill thought, negative thought, that becomes cause of suffering to ourselves and all in the world. So then he said, you see, no state of Brahma is just above that in Tibetan. Hata mi longjoka song longjoka. Sangba ongbo tapota. Jidin yongwa jidin. Jidin yongwe ten tata. Simjen pepe samshi. Also, when we have goodwill, good thought, love and compassion, bodhicitta, all the desirable conditions that we enjoy, all the undesirable conditions that we don't like, but we have to experience those due to our negative thoughts. Matando, Rosumdir, Kayameba, such is that there's no inner wonder. There's nothing to be wonder outside of us. We all have to look ourselves. We have to see the causality precisely. So here, the emphasis of the practice of loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta. They are the root cause, rudimentary cause for our peace and happiness in the temporary life and for enlightenment. So there's no state of Brahma, Indra, Shiva, or any guidance deity of the world enjoy all in the three realms of existence that was not engendered through desire for being's good. Everybody who's enjoying peace and happiness is because of love and compassion to all other sentient beings. They are suffering there is because of our negative action. So that's basic, Now here next is, all the different kinds of pain that beings suffer in the hell realm and animal or hungry ghost. All these result from the harming beings. How much we are harming. Yeah, whereas, if you look carefully, every day in the world, seafood, seafood. How many people are eating seafood in every day? Millions and millions, all over the world, you see. All in the coast, ocean, the site. How many seafood restaurants are there? And these creatures, we just treat them as just food. We don't see them as something they are suffering. We just collect in our net. Now that because of technologies, we made a very sophisticated net, and to hunt them, it's just a large number, and then distribute to other restaurants. So that's why I wonder, all the storms, oceans, storm from the ocean, these animals, the ocean cannot tolerate. See, it's not a religious belief. It's not being a spiritual or non-spiritual. It's reality, nature. It's reality check. Whether I believe religion or not religion, if somebody hurts me, it hurts me. I get pain. And I don't desire that. I want to free from that. But as a human being, I can express. So why are doing this to me? But these stupid animals, seafood, they cannot express. They scream, like a, what do you call that? That I heard. When you throw in the boiled water, they scream, real, alive. Throw in the boiled water, Because I saw one time, in a big restaurant, many in the rest, some big restaurant. There's so many stoves put there. So in one stove there's one chef, and next to him there's a fish tank, big fish tank, and he picked up a live fish and throw in the pan where this oil is boiling. He throw in that, and then made a big noise, smoke sort of coming. And then after some time, fish again jumped in the air and went down. So that is what's called heroin, suffering. So now you see, look at this. Still we want to enjoy our life while torturing other sentient beings. How much we can expect real peace and happiness due to our ignorance, delusion, our greed, our attachment. Then we create all these cause. That's why we get so much down the natural disasters, the earthquake, the storm, the tornadoes, and all. You see, whole country is now covered with the water. It's not because of result. They each has their cause, and we're paying the price. So that's the Buddha's teaching, you see. Buddha's teaching is not just some belief system. No, basically how to become a better human being, more civilized. See, it's mind, as I mentioned. Mind is such an important subject, very hidden subject, ambiguous, but it's there. We cannot deny that, So that's what it's saying, Now, it's all the suffering that exists in the world. It's because of our ignorance, negative karma, negative action. See. So these are very important point, Dhamma practitioner. It's not just chanting some mantra, in the morning, just, so just showing your pious. Pious? I'm sure I'm very pure, pious, and chanting some mantra and all, we have to look at the basic, fundamental causality, nature. See, that's what Lord Jigten Sungkun said. When karma comes, even Buddha cannot do anything. Buddha has to explain this out of karma action. The story of Moggallana. Moggallana was such a gifted Buddha's disciple who can show miracle power, can fly, all these things. But then one time, then a group of non-Buddhists came and beat him. And he was just beaten. And his whole bone was crushed. He cannot walk or could not walk. All the other monks, they are so discouraged. What happened, Moggallana? You have the most powerful miracle, ability to show. Can't you At least can't you fly from that? The Mongoliana said, when karma comes, I could not do anything. So the monks went to Buddha, see, what happened, Our Dharma practices looks like no so much effect, benefit. Even Mongoliana could not run out of that dangerous condition. Buddha said, it's a karma. Way back, millions, eons ago, he did this is karma. This last karma left over is finishing, paying the price. So Buddha has to say that. Buddha cannot protect him. No. Buddha said, I can give you blessings, you are healed, Sometimes we say, teacher, oh, this teacher will protect us from hell realm. Doesn't look like that, We have to work, Individually have the responsibility. You see, this is the Buddha's teaching, okay? That message should go around. This transcends all the differences. I agree or not agree, I believe or not believe, but all concerns on the causality. Okay. Okay. Our next what is said is okay. See, you are confused, and even I'm confused. Then next you see suffering, you see. Hunger, thirst, and conflict. Back and forth. And pain by which we are tormented. Endless. And so hard to overcome. All this result from harming beings, you see. You look at the war now, killing so many people. Why we should do this? Out of ignorance, out of greed, out of ego. No? So then when there's a war, disturbed all human beings, non-human beings, spirits. And because of that, the weather changes. Then there's a drought, no good harvest. There's a hunger, and there's a conflict back and forth continuously without ending in the samsara. So the pains, by which we are so tormented, is the real teaching, Buddha's teaching, wisdom, compassion, endless and so hard to overcome. That's other dimension in our mind. Look at the mind. Our mental afflictions, we know they are not good, but we are so overpowered by them. We have no freedom. Like those individuals who are drug addicted. No, just an example. First, due to some mental difficulties, some conditions, or even not mental difficulties, due to your influence, your friend, you use drug. And then you enjoy that. You use once, twice, three times, and then you get used to it, and then drug addicted, and then your life is spoiled, no longer good, your life. Then you see your friends, your parents saying, don't eat, don't use the drug, this is bad for you. No, they tell you, scold you, and you know it, but so addicted. You cannot live without it. And that's your soul. So you're overpowered by this addiction. So whole samsara in the samsaric sentient beings were addicted by mental afflictions. Like a drug. All these mental delusions are drug. And we're so addicted. Difficult to get out of this. And we suffer. I'm not saying everything's bad, but it's important to aware, to know it, Before you avoid it, first you have to know why I should avoid it. No? That's what Buddha said. This is the suffering you should know. And this is the cause of suffering. The Four Noble Truth, the Four Noble Truth. This truth of the suffering, truth of the cause of suffering, truth of the cessation of suffering, and truth of the path to the cessation. That's what first introduce us, the Four Noble Truth, before Buddha talking about the emptiness. Buddha didn't say, everything's empty, relax, We're just looking, suffering, just this moment, my physical suffering, mental suffering. We don't know more than that. The Buddha is saying, not that simple. There's a suffering called, what we know suffering is a suffering of suffering. Then there's suffering of change. All the enjoyment in the samsara that you indulge, that we are indulged, it's a suffering of change. They change into suffering. We should recognize that. And then as long as we have the mental affliction and the karma, we are under the condition of suffering. Even though right now you feel so good, perfect, life is perfect. But still, we're under the condition of suffering. So these, we have to have a mental, very quick, clear picture of this understanding. Then say we can what? What are the cause of those suffering? Then look at the cause. So that's what the Four Noble Truths are the framework of the Buddha's teaching. Buddha taught the first level of the Four Noble Truth. Then when Buddha taught the second turning of the Dharma, it's also Four Noble Truth. And the third turning of the Buddha's teaching is also Four Noble Truth. From ordinary person in the samsara to the 10th Bhumi Bodhisattva, whatever there's a delusion, of creations, all are subject to purify. There's nothing there's nothing special for 10th Bhumi Bodhisattva if that person acts negative. Have to purify all. See. Now next is the result of the good, positive one. So now Buddha and Bodhisattvas and every happy state. For enlightenment and even in the samsara, all the peace and happiness that there is, and then by contrast all the evil destinies. It is thus that we should understand the twofold ripening of being deeds. So all the Buddhahood, total peace and happiness, and great Bodhisattvas, they may not have peace and happiness as Buddha has, but even though they have such great. And then in the samsara also peace and happiness is come from the virtue. And on the other hand, all the suffering are come from, as earlier mentioned, from the delusion. So we should understand this twofold ripening of being's deed, okay? Then, seeing that nature, like say loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta, all the virtuous actions, this is said, God beings as you would your own, your very body. Means you have to treat all sentient beings as yourself. As you God yourself, you treat all sentient beings in that way. Because sentient beings, as I mentioned, is our support of the practice. Attend to them with everything you have, indifference to the plight of being. This you should reject, or you should reject like poison. So indifference means not taking care of the sentient beings. Not being, here we're saying, so not being selfish. We bring all sentient beings into our heart. And then let us say, practice loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta. So that's our support to create all the positive karma for the enlightenment, Buddhahood. And neglecting sentient beings, indifference, neglecting sentient beings is like a poison. It becomes cause of suffering. That's why I said, you should reject like poisons. Indifference, neglecting sentient beings. It's like poison. You don't use poison. If you heard, if there's a poison, you immediately purify or get rid of the poison. This just now giving example here. Nāgārjuna gives example. It's not the Sharavaka's enlightenment of the lesser scope. Sharavaka's, Partik Buddhas, Nyundu Namne, Chadawa, Janju member, Tomenams. So the Sharavaka's, Partik Buddhas, they achieve the lesser vehicle enlightenment. Arahat, Sharavaka, Arahat, Partik Buddha, Arahat. It's because of rejection or not taking care of the sentient beings. So because of that result, you see. Therefore, say, because they lack this love, compassion, bodhicitta. But contrast, perfect Buddhas gain enlightenment because they do not turn away from beings. So how Buddha became Buddha, bringing all sentient beings into your heart and cultivating bodhicitta. Practice that. There's the contrast with the Sharavakas. So sentient beings, how important as a support for our practice, because they do not turn away from beings. Buddha, they don't turn away sentient beings from your heart. It's all mind training, you see, it's mind training. that you just look at. Sometimes you feel, oh, maybe I brought into society, I should do all these things. You do what you can, but look at the Milarepa's life story. No? Milarepa lived in the mountain. For many years, they don't know where Milarepa is, because he lived with eating nettles. No? But he enlightened, because he embraced all sentient beings in his heart and practiced bodhicitta. See? So we should know how to practice. Sometimes you may think, love, compassion, bodhicitta, maybe I go to the nuns, I do a lot of things. If you can, you should do it. But somebody rejects you, Then there's a danger you give up, Oh, no, I cannot do it because they reject me, I'm very upset. I'm very angry because they reject me. What I try to support them and they just throw me in the trash, Instead of benefiting sentient beings, you are lost in the samsara. So before that, we go to them, to stay at your own place. Train your mind, meditate, see, relax your mind. And you build the strength of your mind, Then you see, like Milarepa, when he enlightened, then he go to place, teach those who are interested, those who accept his teachings, and he dedicates. So because of this, now look at his life story. From 11th century up until now, all the Buddhists, especially Vajrayana, they speak about Milarepa. Milarepa said this. Milarepa did this. That's what we are getting benefit. He became so popular because of his bodhicitta's perfection, or perfection of his bodhicitta practice. So that's why it's very important to read the life stories of those great masters and inspire ourselves, develop devotion, how they worked hard, how they benefited sentient beings. They have not established their own kingdom. They established the Buddha's teaching in the world, passed down their enlightenment, their wisdom, their compassion. So that's how it brings peace, happiness in the individual's life, in the society. There are many people I saw before they met this Dharma teachings, and after the meeting Dharma teachings, they say, it really, Dharma changed my life. Before they are so depressed, confused, and suicidal, And then when they meet Dharma teachings, you should think this. No, right beginning, don't teach so much chanting mantras, First you teach the mind, how to relate to your mind, Chanting mantra is method, but method depends on your mind. But mind is, if you teach how to relate to your mind in the positive way, wisdom, compassionate way, then you see that individual really get the benefit. So as yesterday mentioned, the Buddha's teaching is the teachings, the education for the 21st century. We need this. So here, see, the last, you see, verse 84. Once one has examined, you see, the result of helpful and unhelpful deeds. Helpful means peace and happiness, beneficial. Unhelpful is not beneficial, suffering, the deeds. How even for a single instant can one stay attached to one's own benefits. So now, when you know this as a sentient beings, as a support for our Dharma practice, for our enlightenment, how you can be selfish for yourself. Always desire to benefit sentient beings. Now, may all sentient beings have peace and happiness. May all sentient beings free from suffering. May they swiftly attain enlightenment. So keep that prayer in your heart. Contemplate on this. Chant this prayer. And exercise your mind with that. See? Because as mentioned, our mental affliction are very difficult to purify. As yesterday we went, the habitual tendencies, the propensity of these habits are so difficult to purify. You know the sticky glue? Sticky glue. When I was in the 16th Street in the house, I stayed there. We have a tenant who lives in the one room. And the house was old house, so there were a lot of mice, So one time, then the one tenant moved. After that, the tenant moved, the person who lives there. I went to the room, and there's a sticky glue in a piece of paper. And a mouse is stuck with that glue. Just, I think, the tail or something, a leg, one leg, stick with her. So then I was trying to not to pull that, the mouse from that. When I tried to pull the leg and the tail, the tail, it's attached to the glue, Then if you try harder, it looks like the whole leg was going to break, So it is so painful. And I was so, and I started thinking, what should I do, And then I took that out of the house and I went to the garden, where small garden there. And I just said that. Then at that time, the phone was ringing, So it took 10, 15 minutes. I could not pull the mouse out of the glue, So I left on the piece of rock. I went in the house to pick up the phone. And somebody called and asked me this. So I thought after the phone finished conversation, I'll come and work on that. When I came out, it took by the eagle, eagle or some fly, big fly, took the mouse, So our mental affliction is a sticky glue. It's so sticky, It's difficult to get rid of it. So look this, meditate on this. So as mentioned, our drugs are also like that, So practicing Buddha's teaching is first of all how to make a better person. We have a lot of limitations. Now I acknowledge myself on how much limitation I have. but I see how I can improve, make it better, you know. So it's how to make a better human being, more kind of helping, not harming. By saying this, may all mother sentient beings, you know, have all the peace and happiness. You know, become a better human being, more courage, more wisdom, more compassion, and make that way we make the society better. Without this, just by chanting mantras, you know, I don't know how much you can make the world, you know. I'm not saying the chantings are not good. Of course, they're precious, you know, but we have to understand this. Oh. So that is the say, can one stay attached to one's own benefit? So when you see these differences, how dear you can just attach to yourself. Especially if you want to achieve Buddhahood. Sentient beings, the indispensable condition for our Dharma practice, for Bodhicitta practice. As yesterday I mentioned also, you know, to perfect your generosity, you need sentient beings as an object. You give all your giving, Dharma teachings you give, fearlessness you give, and wealth you give. You need other sentient beings' support. Then next is how to establish the stability of the bodhicitta and compassion. You know? So from the plant of bodhicitta, firmly rooted in compassion, you say. Compassion is the indispensable condition to develop your bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is cultivated, established on the base of the great compassion. Compassion is the mind which desires as every sentient being to free from suffering. Then said, the one and only fruit of others' welfare grows, means the bodhicitta. You want to help other sentient beings, you can help sentient beings when you are bodhicitta. Thus, the Buddha's children, means bodhisattvas, meditate on bodhicitta. See? So bodhicitta is not just for Buddhists. Bodhicitta is for every sentient beings as a cause, you should say, no? As a cause to free from samsara, as a cause to enlightenment. Okay. Sometimes say, bodhicitta is only for Buddhists, you know. Then that makes very simple, very small mind. Bodhicitta is big, but you make very small, you know. You confine your bodhicitta in the wrong place, and then there's no bodhicitta. But bodhicitta is an unconfined mind. It's a mind of freedom, no? So that, say, as long as the sentient being is there, the Buddha's compassion, wisdom is always there. So, totally no, embrace the bodhicitta. We should not have afraid. Sometimes take the Bodhisattva's vows. Oh, no, 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 I'm not ready yet, Means I'm not ready yet to free from suffering, basically. That's the point, If you want to free from suffering, bodhicitta is the highway towards the freedom. Absolute method. And sentient beings, the best support for your practice. So you see how marvelous the bodhicitta is. How marvelous the Buddha's wisdom is, the teaching. Sometimes say, be kind, nice, be nice for yourself, But you should really sincerely be kind to others. It's important, Sometimes Buddha scold his disciples, why you're doing this bad thing, We think Buddha is always smiling, Very weak, But Buddha is not that so weak, Buddha is courageous, fearlessness. Buddha has no fear to face any problems. No, the Angulimala, Angulimala, who killed 999 people, and at last he couldn't find anybody because he needed one person, to become 1,000, So the last, he met Buddha. And he didn't know he was Buddha, but a person, a monk. So then he was running after the Buddha. All whatever he now can speed up. And then at the end, he met Buddha. And Buddha looked around. So, what you want, And he, with his knife in his hand, ready to kill Buddha, And Buddha has no any fear. And he said, are you not afraid? They said, why I should be afraid? You are afraid. Said, why? Because you are now, today is the last day, you're not getting that person what you needed. You are so afraid about this. And he totally just thinking about it, dropped the knife on the ground. And then why, The Buddha said, you got a wrong teacher and you are confused totally, And he totally understood. Then Buddha said, I'm the Buddha, So then he took refuge to Buddha. Please protect me. I'm in the wrong place, a wrong person's hand, I got a wrong instruction. Buddha said, by killing the people, you will never achieve your goal, that what you wanted. So then he was totally remorse what he did out of confusion. And then he fully took refuge to Buddha. And then Buddha gave instructions how to purify all the misdeeds that he has done. And because Buddha knows totally, directly how to purify his, all his negative karma. And he was totally ready to purify. So Buddha gave direct instruction, all the meditation instructions, teachings. And he did the retreat, went to retreat, meditated for many years. And finally he achieved Arahat and became such a great healer. His name was called Ahimsa, non-violence. And then people are chasing him to get blessings from him. Then he was so amazed, when he was with a knife chasing people, everybody's run away, But now people are chasing him. Oh, That's the beauty of the Dharma, the beauty of the Buddha's wisdom and compassion. So we need this. Everybody should make effort, take the responsibility from today. So embrace the bodhicitta. When bodhicitta is, why it is, in bodhicitta, there's no place the non-virtuous thoughts and deeds. See, that's what amazes you. Bodhicitta has all space to cultivate all the good qualities. And can become a perfect person, free from all the suffering. So we should inspire by this and meditate. Since we want peace and happiness, since we want to free from suffering, this is what we can do, what we have the opportunity in our hand. Otherwise, it's, Buddhahood is so beautiful, blissful, and like Devachan. You can describe Devachan. It's so wonderful. Still, we don't know where that is. But you can find Devachan in your heart by cultivating bodhicitta. Okay, then a bodhisattva is now is here used so beautifully described. Now, on the base of great compassion, then cultivate bodhicitta and practice. Develop yourself. Build the strength. So said, purify our flustered mind and bring the unflustered mind within in. Establish. Then to benefit first sentient beings, look at the suffering of the hell realm, hungry ghosts, animals. They are tortured, all this. So great bodhisattvas, how to help these beings. Now here coming, and when through meditation it is found, those bodhisattvas are appalled by others' torments. They renounce samadhi's bliss, and even plunk into the hell of unrelenting pain. This means great bodhisattvas. Now, Buddhas, of course, great bodhisattvas who are highly established, they see the suffering of the sentient beings, especially in the hell realm. Animals, look at the animals, they're suffering so much. In the wild, you see, it's in the wild, but you see there's a lot of predators. Eagles, they're hunting, lions, tigers, leopards, wild dogs, hyenas, all this, just chasing all this. The deers, they don't have a peace where they're eating one mouthful grass. Have to just always fear, watchful. So these great Buddhisms, they see the suffering of this. That's the saying, Bodhisattvas are appalled by others' torments, where they are suffering of those individuals. They renounce samadhi's bliss. They are in the meditative state, samadhi, such a great bliss in the samadhi, total peace. No? If you have very good meditative state, you don't want to move from there. That's because there's no better place than that. But great Bodhisattvas, they risk that. They're not attached to that. Oh, see, they renounce, you see. They renounce and would say, voluntarily, they are born in the lower realm, and even plunged, into the hell of the unrelenting pain. They could go through there because out of their bodhicitta, great compassion, they cannot tolerate the suffering of sentient beings. Their samadhis, when they stay in the samadhi, they feel it's selfish. They go down there. It's so wonderful, In Tibetan, kanshi kompe tembani shenji tungi jitine samte dewa tonneja narme paya jubarches. They can do these things without fear because they realize emptiness. So when they realize the emptiness, suffering is also natural, empty. There's a pain, but not an intolerable pain. They realize their body is empty. When the body is empty, then the agent of the body is empty, where it is called such a characters of the suffering. So this is the wonderful thing now. How wonderful this is, how worthy to be praised. Now, these great Bodhisattvas are worthy to be praised. This is the supreme holy way, and yet it is not at all remarkable to give away one's body or one's wealth. So there's nothing special giving wealth, even their body, since they can go to the hell realm and tolerate and endure the suffering of the hell realm. This is the wonder, worthy to be praised. So great Bodhisattvas, they dare not hesitate to reborn anywhere when there is a chance to help other sentient beings, benefit sentient beings. That's because the bodhicitta, the relative bodhicitta and absolute bodhicitta. So that everybody have opportunity. There's no discrimination, okay? Buddha didn't say, you cannot practice bodhicitta, you can practice. I like these people, I give bodhicitta to these people. I don't like these people, I won't give bodhicitta teaching, There's no discrimination, you see. That's why Buddha's teaching is for everybody in the world. That's why we who know this has a responsibility to share with others. No? It's amazing, isn't it? Really, Time flies now. Now there's I think I have translated that account. Maybe it's in the A Complete Guide to Buddhist Path in that book, I think, maybe if you read. at the time of Buddha Kashyapa, previous Buddha, there's one, Buddha has, of course, so many monks, but one attendant of monks. Wherever Buddha go around, he goes to all different places, encouraged to see Buddha and make simple offerings what they have, you know. He goes to the door to door. And this sometimes I think Jehovah's Witness is really good, you know. You know, Jehovah's Witness, yeah, they are very good, you know. They go to door, you know. So you look, when I was at the center, every week they come, you know. You know, the wall is in bad shape, you know. You better worship to the God, you know. So it's a good thing, you know, reminding, you know, to be a better, you know. So like that, a monk was going around, you know. Then there was a couple, very poor. You know? The monk knocked the door and said, Buddha is coming. If you have anything to make offering, do it. You know? So they have only one cloth, wearing cloth. No, you remember in the item. And then the wife said, we're so poor. Now I want to make this offering. You know? And the monk took the cloth and made offering to the Buddha. And Buddha picked up this dirty, old, very old cloth, smelly, you know, and bring up, you know. And the Buddha surrounded us of kings and ministers, rich people. So they thought, oh, the Buddha is crazy, you know? Holding such a unclean, dirty, you know, all this old cloth. Now he's keeping, you know. And Buddha said, I want to say something. No, it's so amazing. The person who offered this, do you know? He said, of course they don't know. This is the most pure motivation to offer this to me. And Buddha explained, the couple down there, they have nothing, but they're desperate to see me, but they don't have an extra cloth. So what they have is this one, they offer to me. Such a pure motivation. So then the people are so impressed because what Buddha said. And then the people who are rich, they asked the monk, where are those two? And they brought clothes, and then they gave to, and then they got opportunity to see the Buddha, you know, in the assembly. You know? So then that reborn life after life was such a precious life, born with a wearing cloth, without kind of making effort to find something. Then this was told Buddha Shakyamuni, the story. There was a young woman who wanted to become a nun, and she has her own cloth and turned into robe, and all the monks there so impressed. What is happening? Then Buddha Shakyamuni told the story of that. So that's actually happened, you know. It's not a mythology, okay? So this is the causality, this is what is saying here now. So we have all the opportunity what we want to do and don't want to do, you know. But these Dharma teachings are so precious that gives us the wisdom, you know, opens the heart, and then how to do things right. So Dharma teachings are so precious, important, you know. Now then, so this kind of, now giving some clothes or giving some, practice with generosity, even giving your life is not really impressive. But this, like this way, without doubt, without fear, you can sacrifice yourself and reborn in the hell realm and endure all those hell realms suffering. No, it's without reservation, it's the most marvelous things. Then next, I want to read this, verse 88. Chunong tongpa dishin letan tebu tem teba kang denu ngwazara we ngwazara medu chung. So now say, instead to grasp the emptiness of things, I don't know the translation, grasp, meditate on the emptiness, of all things. Everything is nature of emptiness, and rely upon the karmic law of cause and fruit. You see, you totally, your mind maintain in the emptiness state. At the same time, within in the emptiness, totally aware your causality, okay? Avoiding all the non-virtues and protecting all the virtuous action thoughts. This is the most marvelous, you see, and fruit. See, it is this that is more wonderful than wonderful. See, more. Usually you say, everything is empty. I can do this, I can do that, We're careless within the emptiness, In the emptiness, there's no virtue, there's no virtue, there's no non-virtue, so I can do anything. It's not that. Emptiness cannot transcend the causality. Causalities are functioning within the emptiness. So while you are practicing meditative emptiness, totally aware about the causality. And that's the most precious thing. So that's why great masters, when they realize the emptiness, their life becomes so pure, you see. Those who have not realized the emptiness, they pretend to realize the emptiness, then their life is mess. Then becomes a cult member, Lot of confusions there. Just see. More marvelous than marvelous, you see. So benefiting sentient beings from within emptiness. So this is a reality, or I should say, non-duality. So the non-duality of the relative bodhicitta and absolute bodhicitta. Okay. The emptiness, absolute bodhicitta, and all the causality is relative bodhicitta. Without contradiction, all just keep in the harmonious state. So that's, as I mentioned, we practitioners how to become a better human being, more careful, not harming others. This is exactly what now Lord Jigten Sungku is teaching about. Okay, that's why it's so relevant to express the Gongchik, how Gongchik is about. So because I read this in a few months, and even though some words are difficult to understand. But the subject is so beautiful, so precious. We need this in the society, in the world, in this 21st century. Now time is going through, isn't it? How do you like this now? Bunny, you like? Demilia and Malaysia? I see. Jim Dean. Eleanor, I think, from Patrick, used to be, she's here. Way back, very old member of Center. She moved to California. Shira Wong is from Malaysia. It's a translator from Tibet, from English to Chinese. Very good translator. Now we make a break for lunch or whatever. Here is break for lunch. I don't know where you are yet. It sounds good. Yeah, I think you said there's a question from yesterday.
Another question.
Oh,
there was several questions. Sister Susu, maybe we can look, and she'd have already translated. And there was Ed yesterday. He have asked about verse 69. Oh, I'm sorry, verse 67. Independent of the conventional, no ultimate truth can be found. Can you explain? I'm not sure if Ed is.
verse 67.
Yes.
When such is expounded as it is, the all concerning relative is not at all suspended. Means within the suchness, he said, when you study practice of emptiness, that doesn't transcend the causality. Because the causality itself is emptiness, and emptiness is causality. So it cannot suspend it, cannot stop. Okay. In other words, the emptiness will not transcend the causality. The causality is emptiness, and it manifests within the emptiness without separation. Okay. So you have to take care of causality. Don't say, I'm practicing emptiness now, I don't have to take care of the causality. You have to work hard to become Buddha, practicing the 6 parameters.
Okay. And
that's it?
No, there's one more that has 3 questions.
Okay,
and
go ahead.
Susu had to translate it. Dear Rinpoche, please explain more clearly for me question number one, the primordial original mind, nature of mind has always been already perfect and complete, unstained, undefiled, unborn, unceasing, unelaborated. Yet, when we manifest in the form of sentient beings, we are veiled by our ignorance. So why is it that this primordial original mind, this already perfect mind, cannot self-purify and has to rely on the conscious mind to practice in order for us to merge with the original mind, the nature of the mind again?
That's just an example, you see. I mentioned there's a butter in the milk. The milk is overcovered the butter, you see. So you ask, why not butter? You give me the butter. The milk, you ask milk. Why? You have the butter, so give me the butter, milk, you know. If you ask that, milk can give you butter. You have to work, produce the butter from the milk. Butter is there originally without liberation, without damaging. The perfect butter is within in the milk. But you have to work to produce that perfect butter, okay? So likewise, in our mind itself is pure, but these afflictions, you have to practice Dharma, like butter producing from the milk. You just produce your pure mind from these mental afflictions.
Question number two.
Yes.
Every thought, whether good or bad, is considered to be deluded thought or a delusion. Is that so? And if it is so, then what should we do so that that thought is no longer deluded, so to speak?
First, you see, deluded, not deluded, depends on your mental, how you handle it. If you have the wisdom that the very delusion itself is nothing but undelusion. But if you don't have a capacity to capture that, then delusion is just delusion. Okay.
Question number three.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry. When we say to look at your self-mind, nature of mind, I feel that there is a knowingness, awareness that is in the working. Thus, is this knowingness and awareness is my subtle self?
There's no subtle or gross. There's no mind such called gross mind and subtle mind, you know. But when you are a meditator, doing meditation, you know, and your mind becomes sharp, you see, more clear than scattered mind, you know. When the scattered mind then have no sharp awareness to see it. But as a meditator who has a good meditation, then you can see your mind's activity, you know, and then there's a great chance to how to handle things. Yeah.
And Rinpoche, I'm sorry, I was asking for Ed, but he said his questions is a little bit complex. So
question is complex.
More complex, the verse 67. So he would like to ask it himself and explain a little bit. And this will be the last one. Ed?
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
1 second. Okay, 67?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm combining things from verse 67 and verse 69.
Okay.
In verse 67, it says,
independent of the conventional, no ultimate truth can be found.
Yes.
And then in verse 69, it says, the conventional arises from afflictions and karma. So my question is, does this mean that ultimate truth can only be found through afflictions and karma? Because that would be through conventional truth, or through the conventional.
What is saying, especially the verse 67 says, when you explain the suchness precisely, explain the suchness precisely, that will not transcend the causality, it's saying, because there's no suchness, there's no actual suchness thing besides the relative, okay? The relative that shows the relative itself is no different from the suchness, and the suchness itself is because of the suchness of the relative, you know? So this here it is saying the suchness and the relative, suchness means ultimate. The suchness and the relative, they don't contradict each other. Actually, they support each other, okay? That's what the verse 67 says. 69, yes, this relative state in the samsara, basically we should say not nirvana. In the samsara, the kuntup, the sambridya, in Sanskrit it's called sambridya, and that relative state is come from mental afflictions, okay? Means all these manifestations are the result of the cause that we have created. Now, the karma is made or come from the mind, no? Similar choice, no? Then, what about that kind of mind? You know, that mind is the result of the collection of all the propensities. You know? Then when that propensities are fully purified, means obscurations, then that is the bliss. So this is a kind of teaching how to practice, how to recognize, you know, why this all a manifestation come from in the world, in your life, okay? That's come from all the results that you are experiencing is from the karma. And who created karma is from the mind. Mind is coming, the mind is that mind which created karma is the collection of all the habitual tendencies through many lifetimes in this life, no? When you took care of these habitual tendencies, means all the mental afflictions are fully, this a habit to know this. So when there's a purified, then your mind is totally peace and bliss. Okay.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Okay.
Now we take a break. Thank you for your answer.
Okay. Excuse me?
Okay.
Now, first say, please take a deep breath. Inhale. And exhale all the stress, physically, mentally. Yeah. And then with this, as we studied, I hope somebody you got some message to this teaching. I hope I also have communicated enough that you understand. Then with this, first please meditate. May all sentient beings have peace and happiness. May everyone in the samsara free from suffering. May all they achieve complete enlightenment of the whole. Then with this, we'll say some dedication prayers. Thank you.
Okay, today, as you all know, our Dharma sister also passed away this morning. And also today is a full moon day. So we try to recite Mani Mantra together with the short Generation Sadhana practice we find in this prayer book, which is page 21. So we do this practice and chant mantra and dedicate for all the people who passed away, especially our Dharma sister who passed away. Her name is Lee. Page 21. Om Sumba Vaishuddha Sarva Dharma Sumba Vaishuddha Haing Tongbe Ngangle Pende Den Danye Doje Chembe Goi Karsai Shaje Shasheba Dangbe Togara Talmoy Jar Wome Tingwai Bemai Zin Gilroy Dadara Rinjin Longe Zogu Zembete Togara Daden Shitara Ngage Goroy Tele Witre Sanje Chansem Chu Tenaim Chenlai Ngoto Indalai Tem Laya Witre Ndrove Dev Chan Doji Chenpo maybe once in English. From the all-pervading emptiness arises large flower with the moon disk seed. Upon this throne is the lotus. Position, I am seated in the body of Chanrezi, who is white in color with the 4 arms and 2 upper hands are joined at the heart, holding at the wish-fulfilling jewel. The lower hand holds a crystal rosary. The lower 2 hands holds a lotus flower. Generously clad and sacred and robe wearing the precious 5-pointed crown and other ornaments. This form is a Sambhava Gaya and complete enjoyment body, wearing the in the heart center of the Chanrezi is the moon disk with the letter tree standing in the center. Around this, the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum circle clockwise. Light radiates from the mantra, this offered to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the Buddha field. Blessings of the compassion and wisdom return from the Buddha field to the form of light, which is absorbed into myself. All obscuration, body, speech, and mind are purified. Again, compassionate light radiates from the heart mantra, dispelling the sufferings and ignorance of all sentient beings of the 6 realms, who are then transformed into Chanrezi, the great compassionate one. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani
Padme Hum.
Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Resolution. Chine ne jo we sho me ban jo. All the outer and inner phenomena dissolve into myself and then dissolve into light, which becomes a non-dual with the all-pervading emptiness. Gewandi nyurdoda chere sewain rogyureji roaji gai maluba yesala By this virtue, may I quickly realize the state of generosity, and may all sentient beings, without exception, attain the glorious state of the generosity. And then we do this dedication, Lord Jigdan Samgun dedication. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, good and lineage lamas, divine assemblies of Vedanta, assemblies of the Buddha, Bodhisattva, Yogini, and dwelling in the 10 direct. Please hear my prayers. By the virtue collected in the 3 times by myself and all sentient beings in the samsara and nirvana, an innate root of virtue, nor result in it worldly concerns, this causes of samsara, rebirth and the Prasarga and Pratyaga Buddha. May all of other sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm and misleading Mars, and the hordes of demons, experience happiness and are separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all through the body, speech, and mind. May the affliction of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise
even a moment.
May my mind stream moisture by the loving kindness and compassion and bodhicitta. And through that, may I become spiritual master with a good quality equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of my death. May I not die with the negative thoughts. May I not confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such, and the pervading clarity of the Dhamma. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you, everyone.